Hi guys, welcome to another video. Now, word of warning, if during any part of this video I happen to suddenly turn into the Incredible Melting Man, this bloody hot weather, please forgive me, just stifling. I just can't wait for it to go and that, we get some cooler weather back. But anyway, I don't want to labour the point. I'm just going to go on to, this is the second part of my two-part second sight Amicus horror anthology movie review, and in this one I'm going to talk about Asylum, which was made in 1972, and just like the previous one I talked about, The House That Dripped Blood, another superb, awesome horror portmanteau movie by the great Amicus Studios. Now this, just like The House That Dripped Blood, this again has got a stellar cast. You've got like Peter Cushing, the gorgeous Britt Ekland, Richard Todd, and a host of other top actors, Herbert Lom, and just like the framing story in The House That Dripped Blood, this has got an equally or fascinating framing story. So the basic storyline is, the basic framing story involves a doctor played by Robert Powell, who you most probably know is really one of our finest British actors. He plays as part of this doctor. Now he goes to this creepy asylum, rambling asylum, and he's got a task. What he's got to do, he's got to try and guess. There's 4 patients incarcerated, in the asylum, and each one has got their own particular horror story. Now Robert Powell, in the instructions of the person who he meets for the interview, played by another great actor, Patrick McGee, the Robert Powell character has got to try and guess of the 4 patients which one is the real Dr. Starr, which is not an easy task, because 4 of them are completely blotto. And really are blotto as a consequence of the terrible things what's happened to them, which has necessitated them having to be incarcerated, in this asylum. But anyway, I'll just open this second sight set just to show you the inside, and I'll talk a bit about the movies. So again, you've got your booklets, back with some fantastic photos of the movie. There's Patrick McGee and the Lethal Dolls, created by Herbert Lom. That's the girl who's in the first story with Richard Todd, where the body parts come out of the fridge and attack her. Oh, fantastic! It's like a fantastic story. And there's the lovely, gorgeous Britt Ekland in the story Where Lucy Comes to Stay. It's a kind of a schizophrenic story, about an imaginary character called Lucy. But anyway, I won't go on too much about the stories. I'll just show you this first, and we'll talk a little bit about each one. There's one with Peter Cushing in, where he wants the tailor to make a suit for his son. Milton Subotsky, named synonymous for all Amicus movies. And then you've got Max J. Rosenberg, Robert Bloch, and the stories are featured in this movie. Fantastic writer, wrote Psycho and countless others. There's the one with the body part at Richard Todd. So they're all fantastic stories, these, guys, they really are. Roy Ward Baker, another leading name in the horror genre, and Milton Subotsky. I love these booklets, I really do. Original film poster, and here's a fantastic close-up of Robert Powell, who plays the young doctor in it, and that, awesome twist in this movie as well, the frame and story and that, it's a very, very atmospheric movie, Asylum. So that's the booklet, and there's your Blu-ray. It's got the reversible art as well, but I usually swap them over because it gives you the best of both worlds. So that's the that's inside of this fantastic set by Second Sight. And again, as you can see, as with The House That Dripped Blood, I've got a poster there of the movie, which I've got with this edition. So yeah, 2 fantastic movies from Amicus. So now just a little bit about the stories now. So as I say, you've got your framing story with Robert Powell as the doctor. He's got the task of trying to find out who the real Dr. Starr is. And then you've got you've got your stories in that, and as I say, you've got your story with Richard Todd and that, who basically Sylvia Sims plays his wife, and he takes an axe to her and he kills her, and when he chops the body up and puts it in the freezer, and then sort of all hell breaks loose in that, but I won't go on too much about, I won't go on too much about each story in that, but suffice to say, it's one of the creepiest stories I've ever seen in an Amicus movie, and that, And then you've got the one with you've got the one with the lovely Britt Ekland, Lucy, when Lucy comes to stay. She plays like sort of like an imaginary friend character, you know, to this girl who has been like she's had like mental problems and that, and she's just come out of an institution. And Britt Ekland plays Lucy in that, you know, an imaginary friend and that. And yeah, another fine story in that, you know. That's actually in I think all of these stories in Robert Bloch's book of short stories and that, you know. So that's when Lucy comes to stay with Britt Ekland. And then you've got the one with Peter Cushing, who goes to this tailor and he wants him to make a suit for his son, but it's got to be a special kind of suit, because Peter Cushing, he's sort of like involved in the occult and that, you know. And what he does, he brings the sort of like the general diagram of exactly how he wants a suit to be made, you know, by this tailor and that, you know. But again, another fine story in that, you know. And the tailor sort of like, he's struggling with his business and that, so he sort of like needs the money in that, you know. But again, I won't go on too much about the story. If you haven't seen the movie, I'll let you see it for yourself, you know, and you'll see what an awesome story this is. Well, I say all of the stories are awesome in this. And then you've got the one with Robert Bloch, not Robert Bloch, Herbert Lom, who basically sort of like flows into the end of the framing story. He's actually some sort of a specialist in sort of like making dolls, you know, giving dolls life and that, you know. And he's got these like creepy robotic dolls and that in his cell. And just by touching, he picks up the dolls, and just by touching them to his head, he can actually make them move along the floor and that, and walk sort of like, you know, the old robots. Like I had one of them when I was a kid. They sort of like slither. I don't know if you can still get them or not, but they slither across the floor, sort of like with their feet, sort of, and that. And he sort of like makes these dolls and that, you know, makes them come to life and that, just by mental exertion, mental thought and that, you know. But anyway, yeah. So, but I won't give too much away about the you know, the endings and that, you know, especially the framing story, because like, you know, they're just fantastic and that, you know. Amicus were always on the money with these you know, horror portmanteau releases, and Asylum is made in 1972. Is right up there as one of the best they've ever made, you know, along with House of Drip Blood, Tales from the Crypt, you know, right up there it is, you know, in top 5. But they're all fantastic stories on this. And again, this is a truly awesome release by Second Sight and that, you know. I just hope they do more of these and that, you know. I mean, they could do Tales from the Crypt and that, you know, and Vaults of Horror. So yeah, keep fingers crossed, guys. Anyway, but as I say, I grew up with these movies and that, and I say this, and along with the House of Drip Blood, are just, I would never part with these movies, you know, because I just absolutely loved them. I grew up with these movies and that, you know, watched them as a kid and that, and they're just fantastic. They really are. And Robert Powell, you know, he's really on the money here as the Doctor and that, you know, when he goes to the creepy, this huge rambling asylum and that, you know. And just fantastic movies, yeah. Okay, guys, so that concludes my 2-part Second Sight Blu-ray review of these two superb movies by Amicus, you know. And these Second Sight are to be applauded, you know, for releasing such two fantastic titles and that, yeah. So you've got the House of Drip Blood from 1971, and then you've got Asylum from 1972. Two classics of British horror, which I would recommend to any horror fan. If you haven't seen these and you like horror anthology movies, get yourself these and put them in your collection and watch them, because they are, I guarantee you'll have a great time watching these. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this 2-part video about the Second Sight movies, and please feel free to subscribe, comment, share and that, you know. And I hope you're all staying nice and cool, as hard as that might be in this horrible heat. And as you can see, I haven't turned into the Incredible Melting Man. Well, not yet anyway. Okay, guys, see you all soon.